You know, it happened. It happened as soon as I started the React series.
Wow.
I had flirted with, I used to call them desk sessions, and I did a couple here and there of this is how I learn a song. This is whatever. And I remember when I did those a few years ago, uh, people from my students would message me and be like, "This is great. You should do more of these." Like my sponsors at Paul Reed Smith Guitars would message me and be like, "Dude, no one's doing those. You should do those." But I never like got it. I never thought about it. And um, when I started the React series, which we can talk about how that happened, but I kind of stumbled into it. Um, the flood, the flood of affirmation from people that I it gave me that feeling that I used to feel when I was in a room when I was a teacher. When you're just like, man, I moved the needle today. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like
wow.
that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I made a dent in this 14-year-old person's heart today. This young girl is hooked. They're a musician now. You know, for life. Like that feeling. You
Oh,
know, but like that as a teacher that you crave. That like it's the reason you do it. You know, as soon as I started doing the React series, I could tell by not just the metrics, the views, and things like that, but I could tell by the actual language people were using in the comments and when they emailed me, how they started sharing things about their life that was that I didn't ask for, and it resonated in a familiar way, which I knew from being a teacher. And I was just like, okay, I know it. The whole channel can't become like this whole thing, which it kind of has. Uh, but I was like, this is it. Like this finally is unique to me, and it works, and it's like an uncompromising whatever. And I'm grateful, man. I'm so like gratitude is the overwhelming feeling. Like I feel like I've been given a real gift because I chose education. I love education. Um, and to have it be uh, global and to have it be just overwhelmingly positive all the time with like basically no negativity and just a tremendous community. It I know I'm rambling here, but it changed. It motivates and inspires me to do more. You know, it's had the opposite effect that I thought. You know what I mean?
it,
So there's not like that freaky weird, like, oh my God, I'm responsible for so much. I don't want to do this. It's the opposite.
It's the opposite. So I mean, obviously, as a musician, we're all master procrastinators, and yeah, it's just a thing. Um, and uh, artists, creatives in general, we can spend 10 days thinking, what should we do? What should we care about? What should we think about? What should we make? Instead of just like doing something and do, more of what works and less of what doesn't. We're like deeply impractical in those senses,
yep.
and and I always knew that I was grateful for being a teacher and having a very busy schedule, because I knew I was going to have the guitar in my hands for 6 to 8 hours a day, and I knew I was going to continue to get better. So even years ago when I was, teaching in person constantly, a very large part of it um, was was that accountability to myself that like if the students are going to keep showing up, I have to keep showing up and I have to keep getting better. That's a big piece of it. And now that it's digital and it's very large and it's around the world, um, I feel that even more so. So now I wake up and I work hard, and
It shows.
I appreciate that. And it goes both ways. It's like I'm trying to motivate and encourage people to just, when you walk into your house, we all have the stress of life, like, and every reason to not pick it up, just pick it up. Just keep it in your hands and you'll get just a little bit better every day. And this is a journey of a lifetime to
Right.
share and enjoy with everybody, right? That's what we do. But me kind of preaching that also empowers me to take my own advice and to keep doing it. And the bigger it gets, the more I find myself with it in my hands, actually trying to get better. And so it's like this cycle. It's
get it.
amazing. You get it?
I was just saying what hooked me with you two from Aaron is because there's a lot of reaction videos and stuff. Is what everything you've just been saying. You had your gratitude comes through, your excitement in every video, your appreciation for the music, no matter who you're listening to. You get so excited like we do. I mean, we're all so excited to hear music. And I was just telling Aaron before we came in and stuff, I was out there watching you break down another Billy String. I was like, I think my favorite is his reactions to Billy Strings.
Billy's awesome.
Because you're like right there. That's pushing you. You're like, oh, I got that. Oh shit, what did he do? What is this kid? Damn, he's amazing. And you do that too with like Jake from Umphrey. The Umphrey's one. It's like you'll be in the middle of it and you're like, damn, they're good. Hold on, let's do that again. Rewind. And then that was a feat too. In fact, Aaron said he was going to introduce you, but we were like, the latest member of Umphrey's McGee. That was amazing to see. And then for you to have I don't even know how to describe it, the chutzpah, whatever, to go back and critique yourself and run it down
and point out my mistakes.
And your mistakes, and
we would have never caught that shit, man. I would have never heard it.
I love what you said. You're like, you're gonna make a mistake. The sooner you do it, then you're done with it. Then you can get on with it. I was like, oh yeah, let's get your mistake out of the way, type thing. And that with a band that's that technical, to hear you break that down to the eye language, everything going on was just amazing to watch.
Well, I really appreciate that. And those guys, I mean, tremendous.
Yes.
And they were so incredibly kind to me and generous. You have to remember, these bands haven't seen me play, live. Like I'm on the internet, and I love being on it. I've chosen the internet. But to have a band like that allow someone to sit in, invite them unrehearsed, just from having an internet relationship where there's no real lengthy, good quality footage of me playing live, even though I've played tons and tons of gigs, is really, in my mind, really something. I'm lacking the adjective.
Yeah.
But they
the internet, then the connection between you and them.
Well, I honestly, I really connected with Jake, Stasik too. But I think people that guitar players have personality types, right? And when you're talking to one of your own. And I think the reason that we didn't figure out what tune we were doing before, or have any rehearsals or anything like that, or worried at all about how it's going to work out, is because I think that we just knew who we were talking to and it would be fine. As simple as it might seem, I really think that that's the case. So anyway, totally grateful for that. Amazing. I'm hoping that I get to do that with tons of bands. That'd be the best thing ever, to have the digital bridge that gap. Yeah. To your point, I'm circling back around. The reason I chose to go back and do a reaction of my own performance is because in all of my videos, I speculate, right? I'm taking a very educated guess about what the musicians may or may not be thinking, based on my education and experience. But when I watch myself, I know exactly what the fuck I'm thinking. Right? So sharing that in minute detail, I think it's like a 30-minute video or something, a 38-minute video, is extremely educational, or that is something I have never seen anybody do online. And so when people started pinging me, being like, dude, you have to do it. We want to know what you were thinking. Of course I was hesitant, but I was like, no, this is a really strong teaching moment. Because like I said in the video, it's not about being great or whatever. It's about the mindset, and it's about overcoming adversity and your own feelings of self-doubt. It's about playing to your own strengths. It's about listening. And these are all things that I speculate in my videos, but to have it be like for sure and for true and for real and be able to share it and have like the proof that everybody can watch. I mean, I can't tell you how many messages and emails I got from people that were like, that was the video. That's the best thing I've seen as far as guitar instruction online, because no one actually knows what you're actually thinking. And you just said it, you know? And then when you go back and watch it, you can, after you go through it, you're like, oh yeah, I can see how that didn't work. That did. We did more of that, less of that. And it's just something that people do to themselves. They listen to their own recordings, but they don't share it, and I just
hear. Yeah.
And as an educator, I was like, this is I have to do this.
Well, you took it to another level, really.
And another thing you said in it, I remember that made an impression was, and we've interviewed several artists that have said this. There was a point in it where you're like, right there, I took my hands off the guitar and had to kind of reset it. I found myself thinking.
Yes.
And when I found myself thinking, then I got off track. Kind of like we've said before, it's like when you're meditating, it's like, oh shit, I'm meditating, and all of a sudden you're pulled out of it.
Yep.
But I like that way you say it. It's like I found myself thinking, had to like take it off for a second and then back to it.
Well, and those are all you can, vehicles isn't the right word, but it's devices that all of us musicians kind of have, that we go back to, and that they're kind of like our safety nets and anchors when we get lost. So like one that I always preach, and I go out on at length on my website over and over again, is that hold on. Oh my God, hold on a second.
Yeah, do you think, man?
No. It's just I forgot to turn my phone off. Anyway, so one of the things I go on at length about, which I have learned over time, is that when you find yourself in that zone and you find yourself feeling busy and you're not weightless anymore, you feel like you got 1,000 pounds tied to you, you don't just take your hands off and breathe. Guitar players have this syndrome that other musicians don't really have. We tend to focus very, very heavily on so it's like the basics of music is like rhythm, harmony, and melody. We're so harmony oriented. This is in this key, you can play this scale, and right. I always take my hands off and I think not what to play, but I reset and I start first. I take a deep breath and I say when to play. So where is there space for me? Like literally where, like a percussionist. And then once you find your spot in the mix that you can find rhythmically, then I always start with, okay, where is there some type of simple melody where I can add something memorable? Because those are the two things that as guitar players, we always forget when we end up in noodle land, right? That's the thing, right? So take your hands off, take a deep breath. Instead of what, think when. And then 2, can you play something that people remember in the car on the way home, right? People whistle. People don't whistle chords. They don't whistle, arpeggios and sweet nonsense. People whistle, 3, 4, 5 notes at a time that get stuck in their head. And that's always, when I find myself being too much of a guitar player, I'm like, okay, can I get there?
But it's a burden. Family needs has been deferred, and hell means been the earth, and now